Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. Now we're going to carry on painting this fella. But first, we're going to carry on painting this fella. We're just going to finish him off. Basically all we need to do with him. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get one of the old paint pots and pop him on, because this is going to be the base that I'm doing and I want to have something to grab onto, as it were, to coin a phrase, so to speak. Okay, so all we're doing is just going around the base, all over the top. Make sure we're all around the edge is painted. And once that's dry, we can get on with highlighting. That's that done. Let's bring your man back in, because this is the guy who we want to concentrate on painting now. So, where do we go? Well, first of all, we're doing the highlights on the blue areas, which again is with the Altdorf Gerd blue. And we want a fairly fine bristled brush. I'm hoping this will be fine enough for what I want, and we're just picking out the different shapes in his armour, like so. There we go. Don't really want too much on his face because that's hidden by the cloak. We certainly don't want any this time on the back of him, on his back, oh no, on the back of his legs, and not on that much on the inside I'm doing here now, because that's going to be hidden by his arm. But I'm just going to add this little bit of a blue, or this little bit of a highlight with this blue, because I will be coming over again with the Sotek green and giving the extreme highlight, so it will look odd if I don't put any in other places. And if you don't understand what I mean, don't worry about it, because I really don't understand what I meant by that. It was one of my switch brain off moments, and switch brain off and just say the first thing that comes into your head. Okay, so that's that done. Next, what we're going to do is what I said we're going to do, and that's the cloak. And we're going to do the cloak a little different in this. We're not going to just do straight highlights on this one. Okay, so first off we're going to start with the fang. I'm going to give it a bit of a shake. Now you may have seen me doing something similar to this on my Warhammer 40,000 Salamander's scouts. And what we're going to be doing is just putting little splats down here, there and everywhere, all over the cape. Just the cape. Now, we're not going to be doing it exactly the same way, because we're not looking for a marble effect on this. We are looking for a kind of urban camouflage effect, which is done by just making little marks. Looking at some urban camouflage on the internet, it's just like little squiggles. You can do, well, there's different ones actually. There's like a checkup, like a pixel effect. There's others which is just like little patches like this, and this is the one I like. And it's just like a random block of, or little splodges of colour on a black background. You can do different colours with this. It doesn't have to be grey. You can do reds, greens and various other colours, but for this I want grey. And the inside of the cape is going to be black, and I know it doesn't look much at the moment, but once you start getting the other colours on top of this, it will look slightly different. And the next colour we want is Dawnstone, and we are going to be overlapping colours. I'm not, as you can see, going out of my way to wash my brush in between colours, because there's no need to. And I'm also not sticking to a set pattern for this. I'm letting my brush move how it wants to, letting me jiggle. Having large pieces in certain places, smaller patterns in others, and I'm just hoping that this actually works, because I've never done this before. Usually when I've done camouflage in the past, it's been like a marble effect. So this is the Dawnstone, this is the mid-ranged grey. That I have. After that there will be, as I say, the what you may call it, the Administratum grey. And we're still letting the black show through in certain parts. And we are going over, as I said, the fang. We're not keeping all the colours separate, we're connecting, we're overlapping colours. And sometimes we will be going over colours, or going over black where there isn't any previous grey. So it's just a case of mark off where you think the colour should be. Okay, so now we're trying to get as much of that grey, as much of these greys off the brush. In fact, clean the brush, that might be a better option, because we're going on to the light colours now. We might actually put a little bit of white on it as well. Let's see how it looks first of all. And we just want little patches of this here and there. postage just been. We don't really want a great deal of this pale colour because, let's face it, this guy is not wanting to be standing out too much, so it's just adding colour little bits here and there in the hope that it looks somewhat like camouflage when we finish. I'm hoping it does, because otherwise I may have made a mistake in doing this, I don't know. But you can spend as much or as little time on this as you want. If you want to do more of a mottled, you know, if you want to try this and you want to do more of a marble, rather, not mottled effect, all you do is just dab on. Use a scraggy brush, stiff bristled, and just dab on. And there we are. If you want to, you could add a little bit of white here and there. I don't see the point of doing personally, but here we have our camouflage, urban camouflage cape. You can do it as well on the gun if you so wish. Now for the armour, I don't want camouflage colours, because that's going to be too much, I think. I'm happy with that being on his cape, but not on his armour. So what I want to do on his armour is a bit of black and a bit of the Administratum grey. And a little bit more of the Administratum grey. I want this quite paler than black. We want it to look as though it's standing out. I mean, when I'm saying that, I actually mean it's only for tabletop use, don't forget. It's not display model quality. So if you're doing it for display quality, then what you do for that is a lot more different shades of grey and blend them in. But all we're doing, as I say, is just for the tabletop, it's just for the game. So we don't really need to do that, just as long as it's looking highlighted, as long as it's looking as though we've put some effort in. And here on the back of his heel we want some, because that is going to be quite visible. And here we want some, this is the edge of his armour, so there. And there. We also want some on his gloves. This paint is drying up already, I can't believe that. So let's just try and get a move on. Okay, so that's that done. I may need to mix some more, to be brutally honest, but we'll soon find out. I'm just going to slightly dry brushes on these because we are running out of paint. I don't particularly want to be mixing more just for a small area of the model. So that's that part done. While we're waiting for all that to dry, what we can do next is, using our fine detail brush, our Soltec green, is go over the brighter parts of his standard armour, which will be here, and that's it. That's all we're doing for that. Oh, hang on, there's a little bit here on this edge. I forgot about his arms. I have a habit of forgetting about certain parts of a model, which is not a good idea. Then again, saying that, you can always go back if you do forget something, so it's not a great problem. And finally here, which is just dink. That's all. Okay, and using the same brush, after we wash it, we can and bear in mind the bristles on this are getting a little bit shot at now, unfortunately. We'll try and keep them as whole as we can. And here now what we're doing is just going over in the Administratum grey with a few extreme highlights along the edges, so we're not looking at anything major. There we go. We'll do that area. Well, that area should really be metal, I think. But we'll just whiz down here. There we are. That's almost him done. I'm going. Hey. It's okay. It's okay. It's just workman outside, darling. It's okay. Okay. Sorry, I have my pen in my mouth. Not big pen, my brush. So it's just a case of pushing that in, hold them together for a few minutes while they dry, and now we can just touch the top areas of his shoulder pad here, the top areas of his glove here, and that is it. That's all we're doing for him as for painting. So next job is the basing. Speaking of basing, we have our young chap here to finish off. So what we will do with him is using the Dawnstone on the brush, dry off, and then dry brush over. So we're not looking for a brilliant I'll start that again. We're not looking for a true dry brush, we're just wanting colour onto the black to disguise some of the black and lighten it up quite a lot. We will be going over with another dry brush momentarily, which will be a more stricter dry brush, and that would be of the Administratum Grey once this dries, which hopefully shouldn't take long. And while we're waiting for that to dry, I'll get my little twiddly brush that I use for the basing material. I'm not going to do all the basing material. I'm not going to do all the bases on these. I'm just going to do this one, or these two. The others we can leave as is. Well, not leave as is. I'm going to do them, but I'm not going to do them all on camera. That's what I meant. I know what I meant. I'm just hoping you did as well. Okay, so those. Now I want to actually hide stuff, or make sure I can hide the thing here, because this is going to be, oops, oh dear, well this now is definitely not one of the neatest models I've done. I'm going to have to go over with a cloth and try and wipe it down, but use my finger as well. Okay, what I don't want is any of that on my model. There we are. Just wipe it off with a damp brush. When I say damp brush, in this case it's blooming soaking wet brush, because it didn't get as much water off it as I thought I had. So it's just now a case of going over with a bit of a cloth. And drying where I've overly wet. Wiping down the edges, and hopefully when it dries there won't be much of a visible ring in the middle. So that's that bit done. Now what we're going to be doing is the dry brushing of the Trooper base. I think I have to be taking some more of my medication because my Voice is going again. So this is more of a stricter dry brush, but you probably won't see much of a difference on the stones that I put on, but you will see it on the base. And also after that I will be going over a little area on the stones with the skull white before I cover it. Well, after, sorry, I've covered it all over. Oops, just not the camera. After I've covered it all over with the Nuln Oil once this is all dried. In fact, it's not too bad. So everywhere, as always, on the base gets a coverage of Nuln Oil. I would say just the base, not the model. So that will dull it all down, and then when it's dried we can come back and give just these stones a quick, very quick dry brushing along the edges with white. As you can see, I've done the not incredibly vast amount of paint on the brush. We're just trying to highlight the edges of the stones. I've not done it on every one of them yet, but I will be doing. So that's this fella finished, this fella on his way to be finished. It just leaves Mr. Engineer, the two sentry guns to be undercoated and painted, and the sergeant to be done. His cape, I still need to try and clean that line off the back, but next time it will be the sentry guns. I'm going to get these cleaned up and undercoated today, or primed today, and then next time when I come back it will be the engineer with the two sentry guns we'll be doing, and as I say, we'll leave the big sergeant till last. Nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. There's just the crates and storage things from the accessory sprue to do. You've already seen now I'm going to be doing the crates anyway. I'm going to do exactly the same with those as I did with the resin ones that I got. Just to remind you, that's how I did them. I just went over them with Nurgling Green, then gave them a wash with Agrax Earthshade, and that's it. That's all I'm doing with the others as well. Exactly the same. So I don't really need to do everything on camera. As I say, I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to clean up this line here. I'm going to be cleaning up these and priming them. So next time, as I say, we're going to be doing the engineer. So until then, take care, God bless, and bye for now.